Chriselda Lewis in Pretoria for more on the trial. Chriselda, yesterday's proceedings ended at quite a dramatic moment where basically Gerrie Nel was saying that there was an argument, the sliding door was open, those were the screams that the neighbours heard, and that resulted in the shooting of Riva Steenkamp after an argument was held between the two of them. This is how it ended. Obviously, Barry Rue objecting to all of this, but it must have ended on quite a note now that we're moving into today.
Well, that's exactly what happened, Leanne, before court adjourned. We really saw the state prosecutor, Gerrie Nel, tear into Oscar Pistorius and trying to get him to admit that the version that he gives of a loving, a quiet evening, when he arrived home on that day when he says he found Riva Steenkamp cooking in the kitchen, is all a lie. What Gerrie Nel is trying to say now is that Oscar Pistorius must admit to the fact that there was an argument on that morning in his home. He had fought with Riva Steenkamp, and that Riva Steenkamp fled to the bathroom. That is why she locked the bathroom. On the issue, of course, relating as well to text messages, we really saw Gerrie Nel tear into Oscar Pistorius again to try and paint a picture that Oscar Pistorius did not love Riva Steenkamp. We also heard him say that in none of the text messages that Oscar Pistorius had sent to Riva Steenkamp, he not once said to her that he loved her, and that the only time that Riva Steenkamp had said the words "I love you," had written the words "I love you," is once she sent messages to her mother. We also saw Oscar Pistorius admit to a series of firearms transgressions, and to chat to me a bit about that now is J.C. de Klerk, who's a firearms expert. Mr. de Klerk, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Well, yesterday, certainly a lot of admissions there from Oscar Pistorius that he did not handle his gun properly. He should not have taken it at the upmarket restaurant under the table. He should not have put it in a towel when he was swimming at the Vaal River.
That is correct, yes. Everything that we saw yesterday regarding his firearm that he handled was a little bit dicey, if you can call it dicey. The way that he handled it and the way that he was supposed to handle it was not the right way.
We heard Oscar Pistorius say that he fired the shots now in quick succession. We heard the defense previously say that it was a double tap, but what we need to establish here is what exactly quick succession is. You're saying that's quite critical. You said that off air, that we get to the bottom of what he means when he says quick succession.
That is correct. You've got to look at the shots that was fired. If you take Riva behind the door, the quick succession can't be like four, toof, 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 toof. That won't work, because Riva must have had time. If the first shot hit her on the side of a hip, she needs time to move down. Then the second shot on the arm, and then the third shot that maybe missed her, and then the fourth shot that went through her head. So you actually need that quick succession needs to be determined as how fast should it have been. Taking in consideration Riva behind the door, she actually needs to move to actually put the trajectory of the bullet in conjunction with her wounding. So it can't be, and the double tap won't work. Quick succession, it can't be like doof, 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 also won't work. It needs to be doof, little bit of delay, doof again. That can be quick succession, but how quick is quick?
All right, that certainly will determine once we get back inside court. I'm sure Gerrie Nel will allude to that. But also, I want to talk about the pistol itself, the Tasha's incident. When Oscar Pistorius says that he did not pull the trigger, we heard him consistently say he is not going to admit to that. In your personal view, with your wealth of experience dealing with firearms, is that possible?
If you look at the Glock pistol that he actually handled, now the rule of thumb of any responsible firearm owner, the first thing that you will do is somebody hands you a firearm, you will make it safe, or make sure that it's safe, even if somebody else made it safer before it gives it to you, you need to make sure. Now, sitting in a restaurant, handling a firearm, that's a no-no. That's irresponsible on Oscar's side as well as on the other side handling the fire. That's why he took the firearm and handled it underneath the table so nobody could see it. So they're actually doing what they're not supposed to do. That's why they're hiding it. Otherwise, they would have done it on top of the table. Now, by looking at the Glock, it's got three safety features. First of all, it's the trigger safety. It's got a small little lever inside the trigger that needs to be depressed before the trigger will move back. Then it has a firing pin lock. In other words, it's a small little call it a lever that blocks the firing pin from moving forward without the trigger being pulled. And then it's got what they call a drop safety at the back of the pistol that actually moves up, placing the firing pin in, call it active position, so that it can go forward.
With all those features, is it possible then for that firearm to have gone off on its own?
No, not at all. There's only two ways. First of all is where the trigger is actually pulled with your finger. The second one is a possibility where it could have been hooked on a belt or on a string or something. But then again, it's very highly unlikely that that would have happened with the Glock.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Mr. J.C. de Klerk there showing some insight into the gun charges that Oscar Pistorius is facing and the series of admissions that he made inside court yesterday to reckless behavior in the handling of his firearms. Back to you in the studio.
Chriselda Lewis, thank you very much for joining us. And if we have a chance, we'll try and catch up with you again a little bit later on.